Okay, this idea I started working on about I don't know, maybe 12 years ago, maybe 2004, 2005, something like that. And it is fairly simple idea. After, I mean, maybe you already think along these lines, but I've shared this with several performers, and it seems to help them. It's not something that they've thought of before. What I base this on is some writings by Elias Canetti, an Italian, who wrote a book called Crowds and Power. I have recommended that to several, well, a few guys anyway, because the first 80 pages of that book give you a sense of the mentality of crowds and how people feel about crowds. Maybe give you an insight into what society, how it's looked upon sociologically, if you like. But as I said, it's helped other magicians specifically, and I'm sorry, I'm really, really tired. I just employed it tonight to great success, but I have to remember to do it. And sometimes you get into a rut, and that's what happens. If you get depressed, you get into a rut, and you can't, or a funk. And right now I'm kind of in a funk because I'm away from my family, and I miss them. So the best way I know to get out of a funk is to go out there and have some good shows. Even if they're not incredible shows, you use all those tools that you know, and you employ them, and when they're successful, it's affirming, and that's something I've really missed for years now. So it's nice to kind of get back and struggle through, and I just haven't enjoyed performing magic for some time, except for, well, I mean, it's been gradually coming back. So my love for performing shows, and so, my lord, I'm tired. I hope this is a real crummy introduction. Sorry, I'm working on a budget. Give me a break. Okay, see you guys on the other side. Hi, this episode, unfortunately, I can't put as much work into editing it as I would like. I've got a couple of techniques in there, one of which is, I think I originated. The other is kind of a, I forgot where I heard it years ago, and but it doesn't matter. Lots of guys use the second technique. The first one is very effective as far as increasing your bottom line. The second one is to do something that Jimmy Talks a Lot calls getting a receipt. Otherwise, I talk about things in very general terms, and I try and leave it up to you to apply it specifically to your act. I do that for creative purposes. I think as long as you understand the central concept, then you can apply it in your own way, in your own manner, with the exception of those two techniques that I talked about. And it's going to be up to you to extract those wherever they are. I would edit it and put it in its own section, but I don't have the time. And I'm not so inclined to do so. So, with those qualifications, I'll let you get back to this episode. Ciao. There comes a point in everyone's show where the audience will feel like, I'm going to give this guy a little money. And there's something that we can do as performers to take that willingness to share their money with us and bump it up. Instead of just giving us $1, they'll give us a couple of dollars, or they'll give us $5, or 10, 20. But there's something that happens during that process, and we can, to some degree, control that process. For instance, I made the discovery that in my hat line, if I say a buck as the lowest tip, then that's what I'm going to get. I'm going to get a buck. And I may get 5s and 10s and 20s on top of that, but majority of the people will only give me $1. The whole family will send up their child with $1. But if I say as the lowest amount that I'll accept is a couple of bucks, then usually I'll get 2 or 3 from those same families, and that's a way to bump up your bottom line. Kids. Over the years, I've seen children perform on the streets, usually with their parents fairly close by, and they just make all kinds of money. And this was really the germ that, when everything started to make sense, I puzzled over why is that? I mean, the child may not be very good. They may not be very finished or polished in, I don't know if they're playing, usually they're playing instruments, but they make a ton of money. And I wondered why that was. It was a mystery to me. And I realized that the more we can make our audiences realize that we are part of something bigger than ourselves. We are doing something beyond ourselves, that they will want to contribute so they can be a part of that as well. Because they want to feel like, that kid is going to go places. And I want to be able to say, I knew him when he was just a kid. I saw him on the street. And at that time, he was really, really good. And look what he's become now. They can say that they were a part of that success, that they saw something in that kid that was promising. For older performers like me, there are specific techniques where you say, you build a trick up, you're performing that trick. Just before you get to the climax of the trick, you turn to somebody and you say, you tell them what you're going to do, and you say pointing at that specific person, you say that'd be a pretty good trick, wouldn't it? And they shake their head and say, yes, it would. And you turn to them and you say, probably even worth a 20. Now, dropping that amount out there is, you're not going to get it if you don't ask for it. That's an adage, well-known adage in our business. But if you do this process right, if you can find a way in your show, during your show, to explain to people, look, I do this because I love you guys. I want you to see quality magic. I want you to see a good show. And I've worked all my life to achieve this. Then they feel like they're contributing to something bigger than themselves. They feel like they've done something good. And really they are. You're not putting something in their hands. You're not putting a product in their stomach. You're putting something in their minds and their hearts. How much do you value, as a spectator, do you value these memories? How much do you value yourself? How much self-respect, how much self-value do you assign to your time? And all of these things begin to bear on the individual with some weight. So by making our audience feel like they're part of something bigger than themselves, it gives them a sense of well-being. It gives them a sense of satisfaction. It gives them a gift, really. And so they return that gift in the form of monetary reward. Okay, that's the gist of this. I could do several installments of my blog on this topic because it goes on and on and on. The idea, though, the central idea behind it is that you use this information to increase the prestige that the audience holds you in. You become a representative of something like patriotism, and that works well here in the United States. I don't mean to unethically engender that association, but if you are an armed forces or armed serviceman and you want to display the American flag and you're doing it because you want good, clean fun here in America, then make your audience aware of that fact. If you're devoting your life to the art form of magic, make your audience aware of that fact, because then it becomes something bigger than just you and them. They are contributing to something that they can feel good about and make themselves feel satisfied. Everybody wants to make a difference in the world, for the most part, whether it be good or bad. Everybody wants to make a contribution that they feel is worthy of, or makes them worthy of even their existence at times. So this gives them something, gives people something bigger than themselves, a chance to belong and feel a part of something that they are helping foster good in the world. Okay, you'll notice I'm in different digs now. It's not something that I'm altogether enthusiastic about. I really miss my truck. But it is what it is. So that's it for this week. Next week I'm going to put up part 2 of The Source. I think you'll enjoy that a great deal. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe if you like this. Really, it helps keep me going, and comment below if you will. Please let me know what you're thinking about all this stuff, and I'll keep plugging along in the meantime. Okay, guys, well, hope you have a good week. See you next time. Ciao, ciao.